to the tutorial by AOXOA where I'm going to show you how to make a social media button that is nice and shiny and glossy. On my website at aoxoa.co you will find instructions written out. So visit my website and be sure and share and like. Okay, so we're going to create a new document and we're going to label it something like Facebook button, and I'm going to use 800 for the width and height. And after, you'll see that I've already got my logo document open, ready to go. So we're going to start off by creating a new layer, and we're going to create our button shape by clicking the ellipsis tool, and make sure your settings match mine. You can go ahead and pause it and see. But anyway, I'm going to hold down the shift key, click and drag, and that'll give me a perfect circle. And I want to align the circle in the background, so I'll select both of those, click the move tool, and click these little alignment buttons there to get it all perfect. So next thing I'm going to do is double click to open up my layer styles, and we're going to start off with a gradient overlay, and I'm going to select radial from the drop down group, tick reverse, and I want to change my colors here, so double click into that gradient bar, double click into the dark slider, and choose your color. Choose one that's about in the middle, somewhere in the mid-range. And I'm going to also go ahead and do the same thing for the highlight slider. Double click it, and we're going to pick a little highlight. That looks good. So now we're going to get on over into our inner glow, and we're going to start giving this shape some form. A little bit of 3D here. Where's my inner glow? There it is. Okay, so we're going to change our blend mode to normal, and we're going to change the effect color to black, and then we're going to set our size slider to 51. Go to outer glow, choose normal for the blend mode, make the effect color black, just double clicking in that little square. Change the size slider to 29. Now we're going to go into the bevel and emboss panel. Turn off the global light. We're going for a little highlight down at the bottom, so change the angle down to there. And we'll make our size 7. Change the highlight color, give it a little bit of blue, hint of blue. Now we're going to create our top shine. So we'll create a new layer. Click on the elliptical tool. And draw an ellipsis. And you can Command T to change it. Adjust the size as necessary. And once you have the size and the position set, you're going to create a layer mask. Oops, not a layer. A layer mask. Select the gradient tool on the toolbar. Make sure your settings are set like mine. foreground is white, background is black. Hold the Shift key, click, and drag down your line. Set the opacity to 59 or 60. Now we need to get our logo into the mix. First we'll label this as Top Shine. Label this as Base. Go to your logo document, click on the layer, click, hold, drag it over. Now it's a good size. I probably don't need to resize it. Click Command T so that you can move it and resize it as necessary. And we're going to put some form into this logo. Label it logo. Click the hue and saturation adjustment. Here you can make it darker or lighter. First we need to clip it by holding Option, clicking in between those lines there, clip it to the layer. You can make it darker, lighter, you can change the color of it all through this adjustment layer. Now double click to open up your layer styles and select the Inner Glow panel. Blend mode to normal. Make the effect color black and set the size slider to 13. Select Inner Glow panel. Or Inner Shadow, sorry. The distance to 15 and the size slider will come next at about 30. Select the Drop Shadow panel. Set everything to 0 except your distance slider. And first change your blend mode to overlay. Distance slider is 2. And change the effect color to white. And you can see a nice white highlight there. Really gives it some good detail. Now select the base layer and make a new layer above that. And we're going to create the bottom shine. Select your pen tool, make an anchor above the halfway mark. Place another anchor below the halfway mark and create a nice curve. Close the path. Right click, fill path to white. Right click, delete path. Adjust the opacity slider to make it match the top shine, somewhere around 10%. Duplicate that layer, Command T, right click, flip horizontal, move the layer as necessary. Select both layers and merge them together and label as bottom shine. select the logo layer. We will create a new layer. It will end up clipped, which is what we want. Reposition above hue saturation. Click pen tool and set an anchor going from bottom to top in a diagonal of your logo, and make a nice curve. Close the path. Right click, fill path to white. Right click, delete path. Now we need to change the opacity down to 20% and the blend mode to overlay. Click on the base layer, create a new layer. Go to the brush panel, choose twirl brush. I believe it's number 400. And we're going to change the size to 750, 760. Make sure your white foreground and black background. Click to apply the twirl brush. Select overlay. Opacity slider to 80, around there. There we go. It's starting to look good. So that adds a little bit of life. Now we're going to make a very top catch light. So click on top gloss, create a new layer. Select the ellipsis tool. Click and drag out a small narrow highlight. Command T, rotate it, move it. We're going to right click, select warp, and bend the edges down so that they curve with our shape. Click the check mark. Double click to get into the layer style. Select outer glow. Normal for the blend mode. Change effect color to white. Set the spread slider to 7. The size slider to 21. That's looking good. Bring down the opacity to around 70%. Pretty much done. Now we just need to clean up some of the things that we might not have noticed at this point. So let's find our bottom shine and create a layer mask. Change the background color to black. And now it's revealed what we have to clean up. So select your layer mask on the bottom shine. Change your brush to a soft tip. Reduce the size. Enlarge your picture. If you're doing this professional, you're going to want to take a little more time. Make sure your foreground is black. Set the flow to 100% and mask away the spill off from the bottom shine. I'm going to speed this part up so I might sound like a chipmunk. But we're going to do this because you may want this button on a black background or transparent. It won't always be on white. So this cleanup is necessary. And I'm going through and doing this rather quickly. Won't be perfect, but you get the idea. Now the good thing about all of the stuff that we've done is we can go back and change the colors, mess with the shadows, rearrange the shines. There we go. We'll change our background back to white. Using the paint bucket tool. Now let's open up our base layer and go over to the gradient overlay. Let's adjust the colors a little bit. Can make it more punchy. It's still looking a little flat to me, but we can add an adjustment layer and bump up the contrast. There we go. I think you get the idea of how to do this, and you can continue to add a bunch of adjustments as you like. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial by AOXOA. Visit the website at aoxoa.co. Have a look at my images. Share them using the social share buttons that you see. Take a look at the blog. Give me some comments. Give me some likes. Give me some shares. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial.